Good afternoon. I'm Officer Chris Gupilan, K-R-I-S-G-U-P-I-L-A-N. I am the Public Information Officer for the Wichita Police Department. Today we are going to be going over a cold case homicide investigation, but before I do so, I'd like to give some brief introductions on who we have here today. Over here I have Lieutenant Rod Miller of the Homicide Section, Sergeant Dan Hardy, Homicide Section as well. I have Detective Vandermolen, Wichita Police Department Homicide, John Davis of the FBI, Captain Christian Corey of the Persons Crimes. I have Supervisory Special Agent Ryan Williams, Chief Joe Sullivan, Sedgwick County District Attorney Mark Bennett, and I have the niece of Krista Martin, who will be going over, Ember Moore as well. And we also are joined with the Sedgwick County Forensic Science Center, Dr. Shelley Stedman as well. So before I begin, just want to give you a quick run of the show of how it's going to be going on today. I'm going to be giving you a brief statement about what we are going to be going over. Followed by that, we are going to have an FBI statement from Supervisory Special Agent Ryan Williams, followed by a statement from Ember Moore, which will be followed by our District Attorney Mark Bennett, and then Chief Sullivan will be giving a few words. And as far as the Q&A portion, Captain Christian Corey will be covering that section. The Wichita Police Department is announcing the successful resolution of a long-standing cold case homicide investigation, thanks to cutting-edge technology and invaluable partnerships within the law enforcement community. On October 2nd, 1989, 34 years ago today, tragedy struck when Krista Martin was discovered deceased in a residence in the 500 block of South Osage. Initial investigative efforts included the collection of DNA evidence, although at the time, DNA testing and CODIS systems were not available. Nonetheless, the DNA evidence was carefully preserved. Despite conducting numerous interviews and analyzing the available evidence, investigators were unable to identify a suspect. Undeterred, they continued to scrutinize the evidence and gather new leads over the ensuing years. DNA samples were collected from multiple individuals for comparison with the evidence from the scene, yet no match was found. The investigation continued, and WPD sought assistance from other agencies that yielded no results. In 2009, the DNA evidence was submitted to the Sedgwick County Regional Forensic Science Center, resulting in the development of a potential suspect profile. This profile was uploaded to CODIS, but once again, it did not lead to any matches. Further DNA sampling from potential suspects also proved unsuccessful. In 2020, the Wichita Police Department, leveraging advanced technology, again sought the assistance of the FBI to reevaluate the DNA evidence collected in 1989. In 2021, a dedicated investigative genetic genealogy team was created consisting of an FBI special agent and a WPD homicide detective. The investigation persisted into 2022, and WPD joined forces with private industry genealogists to scrutinize DNA profiles and attempt to identify a suspect. Finally, in April of 2023, a possible suspect, Paul Hart, emerged. It was discovered Mr. Hart died in a traffic collision in Memphis, Tennessee in March of 1999. In June 2023, the WPD homicide detective and FBI special agent traveled to Arkansas, where they collected additional DNA samples from direct relatives of Mr. Hart. They continued to conduct interviews and submitted DNA evidence for further analysis. In collaboration with the FBI, an investigative genetic genealogy team, Othram, and the Sedgwick County Regional Forensic Science Center, WPD investigators were able to utilize IgG techniques to confirm that Mr. Hart was the suspect in the 1989 homicide of Krista Martin. Upon presenting the facts of the case to Sedgwick County District Attorney Mark Bennett, it was determined that charges would be filed if Mr. Hart were still alive. As he is deceased, this case is now considered cleared. The Wichita Police Department remains steadfast in its commitment to identifying suspects in violent crimes and providing support to victims and their families. We pledge to continue our unwavering dedication to cold case investigations. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to the partner agencies and organizations that played a pivotal role in this investigation. Without their invaluable support, these complex cases would remain unresolved. If you have any information on a crime, including cold case investigations, we ask you please call Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111, the See Something, Say Something hotline at 316-519-2282, or Wichita Police Investigations at 316-268-4407. Now at this time, I'd like to call up Supervisory Special Agent Ryan Williams.
Good afternoon. My name is Ryan Williams. I am a Supervisory Special Agent with the FBI Kansas City Division's Wichita Resident Agency. The FBI is pleased to be able to assist our local law enforcement partners in helping solve this cold case and bring some measure of justice to the victim's family that hasn't had answers for 34 years. The assistance we provided the Wichita Police Department regarding their cold case investigation of the homicide of Krista Martin was through the Investigative Genetic Genealogy, or IGG for short. We have found success using IGG, which combines unknown crime scene DNA with traditional genealogical research and historical records to generate a lead to law enforcement as to the identity of the unknown DNA. FBI personnel working IGG cases focus this process on the construction of family trees for persons identified as possible family members of the suspect. To construct a family tree, we comb through publicly accessible genealogical services and law enforcement resources, such as birth certificates and obituaries, to identify potential family members of the unknown suspect profile. Investigators then compare persons within the family trees who, based on their genetic relationship, could potentially be the suspect, with information such as witness descriptions of the suspect and the location and timing of the crime to identify a likely suspect. Having a family tree takes us from not having any leads to generating a list of possible suspects. After a list of possible suspects is identified, traditional investigations can then be conducted to name a suspect by seeking a comparison between the suspect's DNA and DNA from the crime scene. Today's announcement by the Wichita Police Department is a great example of the success of this technique and how we can use today's technology to solve years-old violent crimes. We are proud to work alongside our law enforcement partners and be able to provide resources to assist the Wichita Police Department and to have some role in providing answers to the Martin family. Thank you.
Thank you, Special Agent Williams. And at this time, I'd like to call up Ms. Ember Moore.
My name is Ember Moore, and I'm the firstborn niece to Krista Martin. On behalf of my family and myself, I would like to say thank you to the Wichita Cold Case Unit and the Wichita Homicide Department for all their hard work and dedication to Krista's case. I first became involved with Krista's case in 2009 when I turned 21, which also happened to be the 20th anniversary of her death. Sergeant Dan Hardy was a detective on her case at that time. Dan was very devoted to Krista's case, and he took every downfall and stepped back personally and to heart. He apologized to me many times throughout the process and over the years. Sergeant Hardy went above and beyond his job description. Between countless emails and several phone calls, he still found time to come to my home and discuss Krista's case with me. He answered personal career questions and helped me set up a ride-along with the Wichita Police Department. I couldn't have asked for a better detective to be assigned to my aunt's case. Thank you, Sergeant Dan Hardy, for all your work. I'd also like to say thank you to Detective Adam Vandermolen. He traveled all over the United States tracking down the suspect's family. It was a slow process, the genealogy process, but Detective Vandermolen did a really good job getting the genealogy all sorted out. I'd also like to thank the volunteers from the Genealogy Society who spent hundreds of hours doing research and sorting through records. They were the key to finding the suspect. I am glad we can finally move forward and have peace knowing that Krista's murderer is not walking around free or amongst us. Again, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone involved in bringing justice to Krista's case. She deserves so much more out of this life than what she ended up with. Thank you.
Thank you, Ember. Now I'd like to call up our District Attorney, Mark Bennett.
So I'm in the unusual situation where I'm talking about a case that has not been charged, but I was just referring one more time to the Supreme Court Rules 3.8 that says that when I need to make statements necessary to inform the public of the nature and extent of a prosecutor's action and serve a legitimate law enforcement purpose, then I can have this sort of conversation with the public, and I think that is exactly what we have today. Law enforcement made me aware that they were working on this case, and when they reached as far as they could and came to all the conclusions that they could reach with the assistance of the Forensic Science Center, they brought the case to me and presented it like they would any other homicide. After listening to all the evidence presented, all the information gathered, and the conclusions that we were able to make using the DNA, it was clear to me that this is a case that I would have charged if the suspect was alive to charge him. So I'm simply here to reiterate what was already been said. This is a completed investigation. It's a cleared investigation, and if circumstances were different, I would certainly charge the case and proceed on in the District Court of Sedgwick County. Thank you.
Thank you, District Attorney. At this time, I'd like to call up Chief Joe Sullivan.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. Our dedicated team of law enforcement professionals working tirelessly over the years have successfully solved the murder of Krista Martin. Through relentless investigation, the utilization of new technologies, and an unwavering determination, they uncovered critical evidence and information that has identified the perpetrator responsible for this heinous crime. While we understand that no amount of closure can ever fully heal the wounds left by such a tragedy, we hope that this development brings some comfort to the victim's family and the community. The pursuit of justice knows no expiration date, and we are committed to holding those responsible for violent crimes accountable for their actions. I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of our law enforcement partners, my WPD, my Wichita Police Department detectives, our forensic experts with the county, and all those who played a role in this investigation. Their dedication and persistence serves as a testament to our unwavering commitment to ensuring that justice is served. Thank you.